So this video is probably going to be a bit longer than the others, but I will try to keep it brief. So for my unit study program that I do or did last year, I bought, it looks like this. It's called Come Sit By Me, Volume 1, and it's a unit study program that is Canadian based, which I found hard to find because most homeschool curriculum seems to be American based. This is Come Sit By Me is really great to use if you are teaching a group of kids of all different ages like I am. I used it for my 7 and 3-year-old at the time, and we will be moving on to volume 2 for our upcoming school year. It is literature-based learning, which means you read one book every day for that week and then do activities that are related to the book that you are reading. So it's a 36-week program that runs like a typical school year from the beginning of September to the end of June. And the way it works is, okay, here, I will use an example using the book, or what would have been the book if I still had it, called I Want a Dog. For our school year last year, I rented all 36 books because it's a different book each week from another homeschooler named Dion Rogers, who runs a store called Backyard Books, and she sells used books and curriculum. So in this story, I Want a Dog, the little girl May really wants a dog, but her parents keep saying no and provide her with all sorts of reasons on why they should not get a dog. So May creates an imaginary dog out of a roller skate, and then she takes her roller skate for a walk around the neighborhood. And so you're going to read this story. So the first time you read this story, you are going to focus on the first activity that you have chosen and planned for from what I like to call this teacher's manual, Come Sit By Me. The author, who is another homeschooler in town, does have more than just 5 activities to choose from, however. But it's very flexible. You can do one activity per day, or you can choose more if you want to. I usually stuck to one activity per day. But basically, each time you read the story every day, you will pick a subject that you are going to cover. So for example, for this story, let's take the subject of geography. And in this teacher's manual, there is an activity under the topic geography, and it is called Know Your Neighborhood. And it would look like this. So all the activities are laid out, very straightforward. Know your neighborhood. And the teacher's manual suggests that in the same way the main character May navigated through her neighborhood with her pet roller skate, you can create a map of your neighborhood with your child. You talk with your child about some of the places that May visited in her neighborhood and discuss what similar landmarks you find in your community. Play parks, stores, schools, bus stops. What are some special places that you visit that May did not? Encourage creative ideas that might not otherwise show up on a map. Then, using a large sheet of poster paper, help your student to create a map of these familiar places near you. Remember to start with your own home and to keep it small so that you can add many features. When you're done, perhaps it is time for some creative free play. Get out the Matchbox cars and let them drive around their neighborhood and pretend to be mommies and daddies going about their day with the family. So I did this activity with my kids. Then my kids created their poster maps, and we used their map to lead us on our walk towards my favorite destination, Starbucks. And that's the one thing I really love about Come Sit By Me. You are taking the literature you are reading to your child, and you are drawing from that literature to teach them concepts and different subjects based off of the book for that week. So you don't need a separate science or history book, for example. I do, however, supplement for math, language arts, and learning to read with other curriculums. But with Come Sit By Me, you can take whatever story you are reading to your child and you can point out different things they are learning just by reading that story. And honestly, after you do this for a while, it does come naturally. The last thing I want to mention, and I love doing with my kids, is lap booking. If you never have heard of lap booking, there are lots of online resources. But in Come Sit By Me, they explain 3 different ways your child can make these lap books. So one way is called a shape book, and they make great keepsakes. So here is a shape book that Noah made for our poetry unit. And these lap books are created over the course of the entire unit you are on. So the book I Want a Dog did fall under our poetry unit called Cats and Dogs because the theme for poetry circled around animals. And Noah's favorite animal happened to be a horse, which is why his lap book is in the shape of a horse. And each week there is something to do or add into your lap book, but it's all in the teacher's manual, so it's very easy to follow. Like the first week, it's like write a dedication page. So Noah dedicated this book to his dad, of course. At the time, my son wasn't printing, so I wrote down what he said. And then the next week, it would be do an acrostic poem. And this is what Noah came up with. He wrote horse and did an acrostic poem. And the field trip that we planned for this one was to go visit horses. And I really love our Bradford community. Someone let me go to their stable with my children, and it was a great experience. Here's a photo of them. I don't know if you can see, and their horse. And I even got like one of these puzzles called 36 Horses that both my children could do together. And I could show you some other things we made using Come Sit By Me in another video if you're interested. I want to also add that your best friend for resources is Pinterest and Teachers Pay Teachers. Teachers Pay Teachers is where I got the silhouette of the horse to print out and trace so that I could create this lap book. And this is just a brief snippet of Come Sit By Me, which is a unit study approach, but it also falls under the homeschooling method known as Charlotte Mason, which I will get to in this next video.